My name is Hiroki Matsuuchi, and you are listening to Tsunami, a weekly showcase of a single content creator in Japan and their content. This is episode number 7, and today we are featuring a content creator who, like me, is half Japanese, but at least twice as cool as I am. Oh man, need to get a new writer. And of course, her name is Saboten Girl. So the word saboten in Japanese is the word for cactus. And I'm not sure exactly why she chose the kind of moniker Saboten Girl. But I kind of like the mystery, to be honest. Like a cactus, maybe her outer defenses protect her from those who intend to do her harm, perhaps? Or, on the other hand, maybe she might just be bad at taking care of plants, and plants of the succulent kind are the only that can survive in her grasp, or something like that. Regardless, she has a very fun and real Tumblr blog where she puts up all sorts of interesting photos and stories, which she pulls from her own experience, of course from her own life. I believe almost everything up there is non-fiction. Just like Loco, it's truer than true. Maybe. Her bite-sized entries are packed with all sorts of interesting media, photos, videos, etc. And I do find myself maybe downing about, maybe half a dozen of her entries on a train ride home or between, different projects, different tasks. It's a great blog to just kind of view bite-sized bits of her life. Regardless, let's take a look at some of the stuff she's been putting up recently and work back in time. So as usual, we will put 10 minutes on the clock. There we go. All right, so her most recent entry is dated February 17th. And there's a really interesting black and white picture of three Japanese-American military men, members of the 442nd Combat Team, grabbing some hot chow in the field somewhere in Italy. Go for broke. Now, this is interesting. Okay. When you click on the image, it's a link to this website. I guess about not half Japanese, but Japanese Americans who served in the American military during World War II. Oh, interesting. It's kind of surprising, actually. And let's keep scrolling down. Wow. Very nice. Now, this is exactly why I like the blog. Let's take a look at some of the comments for this entry. Okay, here. So we have a kind of little conversation thread. Such a funny subculture. I love the nightlife in Tokyo. Mizuwari, etc. Yes, Mizuwari. I don't think I'll ever drink whiskey. The smell just reminds me of work forever, I think. Yes, you were. My. Well, good morning to me. Nice first pick of the day. You got classy written all over you. Here's a classy quiz. What color panties are you wearing now? Wow, this is one of her commenters. If you answer honestly, you're super classy. If you don't, you're not. Sounds like it should be the opposite, but just trust me. You need a long, slow, deep massage, by the way. TMI alert. Oh, that's how you know it's going to be good. This is from one of her commenters. I love panties, sexy ones. I like pulling them to the side. Okay. Okay, well, why don't we just skip this one? We'll try to keep this podcast relatively safe for work. So, of course, this person goes into pretty graphic detail about how he likes to have fun with members of the opposite sex. And there's a response from Rindacat. I've got a few stock answers to that question. I could either do the stockest of stock moves and laugh the question off, lean against you and touch your thigh. I could answer immediately back without blinking. I'm not wearing any. Ooh, nice. I could say, oh, stained my granny pants when I'm obviously wearing a thong. Or if the mood's right and my dress permits, I could just flash them at you. Because honestly, I probably don't remember what color underwear I'm wearing. But to sit there and think and answer honestly, that's boring. That's not what I was paid for, yo. So just to give a little bit of background, Rinda used to be a hostess in Tokyo. But now she's kind of put that all behind her, maybe temporarily, I have no idea. And she's a student in Osaka. So why don't we move on to a different post you guys are curious, definitely please check out her blog. There's lots of cool stuff like this on there. And so this is kind of one of the things I really like about her blog are the very, very, very short snippets. Again, it's perfect to go through like, I don't know, maybe a half a dozen or so when you're on a train ride home, or just have a little bit of extra time to kill. So one of her entries is this very short entry titled, "So Glad We're Compatible." And it's just a 3-line entry. It's a short conversation between her and one of her, or I guess her current boyfriend, maybe, partner, love interest, Baldy, as he is affectionately named. So Baldy says, "What do you want to do when I come down for a visit this weekend?" Of course, Saboten Girl replies, "I don't know. Smoke, have a cold beer in the bath, eat pizza, pass out." And Baldy says, "Cool." Again, these are kind of interesting little snippets from her life, and kind of one of the reasons why I like her blog so much. In addition to the fact that it's so easily digestible in a short period of time, but she's pretty honest about herself and kind of honest about some of the stuff she sees. All right, let's see. Papers are hard. I have a vague memory of being pretty good at writing them back in the day, way back a decade ago when my brain was still fresh and clean. What am I doing back in school after all this time anyway? Sometimes I feel like I didn't think this whole thing through properly. Just kidding. Back to work. See, she's got a sense of humor. Why don't we drill back and go a little bit further back in time? So in addition to being a former hostess, as I said before, she is also a student. And like most students, she is a starving student who's apparently struggling to pay her bills, or at least that's as much as I gather from her blog. So this entry titled dated February 15th is called "Empty Stomach." "I tried to pay my internet bill and do laundry. Failed miserably at both. It's a long, complicated story, and neither is entirely my fault. I swear. Then I realized that I literally hadn't eaten anything all day. Not a thing. Which could be why I found everything so utterly confusing. I'm sure we've all been in that position before. So I just took care of the eating thing. Now I think I figured out the problems, and I'm going to attempt to pay my internet bill and succeed this time. Well, good luck. As for the laundry, that's going to have to wait. I filled up 2 washing machines with my dirty clothes, poured detergent on them, and realized that the machines were still broken. Hence the taped-up coin slots. I just couldn't handle it anymore, so I left to the general area. Maybe I'll go down and bring the dirty clothes back up to my room now." Poor girl. Sorry about that. Hope that laundry thing sorted itself out. And for something completely different, we have I guess this is a David Hasselhoff quote. "Sometimes life gives you a wake-up call. It's how fast you get up, not how hard you fall. Now, you guys want to party with the Hoff?" Interesting, kind of a random quote. All right, let's keep jumping back a little bit further in time. So we've got Jackson's at Madison Square Garden. Wow, that's interesting. "Oh my God, I lost my breath when I saw this dress." Guess she's into fashion, or at least pretty dresses. Let's see. Look at this. Mika Mifune. Wow. Said Toshiro Mifune. Here we go. Everyone knows Toshiro Mifune. Toshiro, I thought. Okay, well, everyone knows Toshio Mifune. When you think of a Japanese samurai, you think of him. The star of the Seven Samurai, Rashomon, and almost every Akira Kurosawa film. He was very sexy. Agreed. Anyway, he had he had an illegitimate daughter when he was in his 60s, a few years before he died. Mika Mifune. Mika then married a much older man when she was still in high school, a 40-year-old rock star named George Takahashi. She knew him from when she was 13. She married him on her 16th birthday. Wow. He's talked on TV about how she has asked him for help on her homework after they were married. Oh, WTF. They're on TV a lot, talking about how happily married they are. She's published books about being a mother, and I guess the fact that she's now almost 30 makes it all feel all right. And honestly, she's gorgeous and funny, and he is too, and they're very good at being TV personalities. But it's still a little creepy. Or is it just me? So yeah, this is one of her posts that has 23 comments, so why don't we take a look at some of them. And her... maybe one of her favorite commenters, and the guy who wrote the pretty graphic comment previously. All right, let's see what he has to say, or she. He, I think. I detailed why I have no interest in younger girls in my Miki post. They can't appreciate the awesomeness of the experience because they don't know how terrible some boys are at sex. If a girl calls me a love god, then I want to believe she means it, but that's just me. All right. Well, why don't we skip ahead? Of course, this is a show all about Saboten Girl. We'll read some of her responses. Wow. A 16-year-old may be smart and intelligent and full of potential in life, but she's a child, and it happens. Young girls get involved with older guys, but every girl I know who did grows up and thinks, what was that 25-year-old guy doing with a child like me? When I was 21, I was sleeping with a very age-appropriate 24-year-old. Then I found out he was also sleeping with a 15-year-old. Oh no. A 15-year-old! I don't care how old your soul is, you're a child when you're 15. I never looked at him the same again. Ah, well, I guess I can sympathize with that. Anyway, why don't we see if we can get through another few posts before the timer goes off. I think it's about to. So this next entry is called, whoa! Looks like time's up. But I'm going to get through this last one before we finish up the show. This last one's called Age Difference. Is it creepy for a 40-year-old man to be going out with a 20-year-old girl? Just throwing that out there. What do you think? I think it is, and it's not the age difference either. I'm 31, and I feel like it would be fine for me to be with a 51-year-old. Sort of. Wait, that's actually a little weird too, because it's dangerously close to my dad's age. It's a little bit weird, I guess. But I feel like a 20-year-old is a child. I was a child. If a 40-year-old guy hit on me back then, I would have either not taken him seriously at all, or I wouldn't have stood a chance against him. Because when you're that young and naive, you're really dumb. It's not a fair match. Besides, what would we talk about? Boy bands, my midterms, my waitressing tips? Because those are the issues cluttering up my mature brain back then. At the same time, society being what it is, I know a lot of guys who are old and go out with, who go out with 20-year-olds. And I consider these guys friends, close dear friends even. I just try not to think about that side of things. Baldy's seeing a 20-year-old. I'll tell you one thing, if a 39-year-old Baldy came up to a 20-year-old me, the result would not have been sex in any way, shape, or form. Interesting. And that's it. We're out of time. We don't want to make this too long. Folks on YouTube will get kind of angry at me. And so thank you all for watching or listening to Tsunami Episode 7. Please get in touch with us at tsunami@wanwan.fm with any comments, questions, or suggestions for future content creators to be featured on the show. And once again, my name is Hiroki Matsuuchi, and this is Tsunami. Thank you all for watching. See you next week.